Good evening. We'd like to welcome you to our December 21st council meeting and our favorite activity in the town of Gilbert, which is our Student Citizen of the Month Awards. We know you guys are all so tired because it was a half day today, and so we totally get it. It's so entertaining for me to see the council members all lit up here. That was by strategic design, so that was great. So welcome. We are proud to have you here. We're so especially grateful for our teachers and our administrators and our staff. If you are a teacher or a member of our school teams, will you please stand so we can recognize you? I'm 100% sure they're not paid to be here tonight, so they're here because they love your kids, and we do too. So I'm privileged to be amongst amazing council. We have Vice Mayor Victor Peterson. He'll be reading our names tonight. Council Member Eddie Cook. Council Member Scott Anderson. Council Member Bridget Peterson. Council Member Jordan Ray. And we have one more council member, who would be lighting up right now, but I don't see him. So Council Member Jared Taylor, I'm sure will be down here in just a second. Victor, can you go to the next slide for me? We do recognize the pillars of character. A lot of your schools also do, and the pillar this month is caring. We always like to make note of that, so thank you. We have two sponsors for tonight. Sal's Gilbert Pizza, which is across the way and is a true community partner. If there is a need at our police department, if there is a school group coming through, they are always contributing in many ways. So we're grateful to Sal's, and also Sub-Zero, who's owned by a wonderful family that also is a great community partner, the Vandermolens. We're grateful for them, and they have also put a little coupon into each of the kids' bags that they'll get today. And I need help. You look like you're ready to help. Can you help me? Come on up. What's your name?
Chase.
Chase, can you pull a name out of a bucket for me? Okay, so in this bucket are the names of all the teachers who contributed a Student Citizen of the Month, and Chase is going to help us open it. And this teacher is going to get a $25 Frost Gelato gift card. You get to award a gift card. Is that cool? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, it's Mr. Dominguez from Canyon Valley. Is Mr. Dominguez here? No? Okay, we'll make sure Mr. Dominguez gets that. Chase, thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Can I have a high five? Good job. All right, we do this very quickly and efficiently, and it's really about the kids. So, elementary schools A through J, if you are a Student Citizen of the Month and go to an elementary school, Ashland Ranch Elementary, all the way down to actually Islands Elementary, come on down and go stand over here by Councilmember Ray. We have Jennifer Alvarez from our digital team. She's going to be taking official Town of Gilbert photos tonight, and those will be available both on Flickr and on our Facebook page tonight. But parents and grandparents and sometimes siblings, you're all welcome to, when your child comes up, to stand right around here. That's the photo spot. Okay? And we'll try to tag them and make sure you get a good one. Okay, Vice Mayor, are you ready to read for us? Terrific. Can you check and see if the podium mic's on?
Use this one for a minute here. All right, Mayor, let's get started. First, from Bridges Elementary, Samuel Jensen. Mayor, from Burke Elementary, Sandra Hernandez. By the way, if I say your name wrong, you can always correct me. I'm not offended, so let me know. All right, from Carol Ray Ranch, Ava Laux. From Centennial Elementary, Mariana Wilson. From Chaparral Elementary, Heidi Bernal. Parents, you can come down and take a picture when your child's up, just so you know. They will also be online on our Gilbert Town Hall as well. All right, from Charlotte Patterson Elementary. Oh, hold on. Arietta Kamarianaki. Hold on. I should have been looking ahead on that one. All right, from Christ Greenfield Lutheran, Morgan Graniello. It's probably Graniello. Now I'm gun shy. We're going to have problems tonight. From Coronado Elementary, Maxwell Moser. From EduPrise School, Ava Wilson. From Gateway Point Elementary, Emma Carlson. From Gilbert Elementary, Anthony Davis. From Highland Park Elementary, Elodie Roadhouse. From Higley Traditional Academy, Georgiana Pond. And last from Group 2, or Group 1, excuse me, from Houston Elementary, Max Beauchamp.
Group 2 is the rest of our elementary school kids that are to be honored tonight. So come on down and now you know what to do. It's pretty easy, huh? So we realize that it's a school night as well. Well, not really a school night, but everybody's tired because, we kicked off the winter break today. So if you do need to leave after your child, we understand, and we don't want to hold you back.
From Leading Edge Academy, Samantha Provins. Going out on a limb on this next one a little bit here, but from Mesquite Elementary, Cassiel Manharas. Should be Monharas. I got it, he tried. That's good. From Neely Traditional Academy, Taylor McCombs. From Oak Tree Elementary, Oscar Ortiz. From Patterson Elementary, Ella Green. From Playa del Rey Elementary, Bryson Wagner. From Power Ranch Elementary, Sabin Campbell. From Quartz Hill Elementary, Ryder Jameson. From Riggs Elementary, Zachariah Malauk. Maluk. I like it. From Santan Elementary, Zachary Beckstead. From Settlers Point Elementary, Penelope Dover. From Sonoma Ranch Elementary, Ryder Smith.
Another rider.
From Town Meadows Elementary, Pranay Mota.
That was correct. Vice Mayor.
From Val Vista Academy, Brandon Gurnani. And last from Group 2, from Val Vista Lakes Elementary, Tanner Huntington. All right, Group 3, it's your turn to come up. If you're in middle school or high school, come on down. You are the final group. Yeah, how tall are you? 6'5". Oh, wow.
Reardon. It doesn't look phonetically correct.
Reardon.
Yeah.
I will try to remember. Thank you. All right, from Campo Verde High School, Emily Bowe. Could be Bowie. Good, she couldn't correct me there. All right. From Canyon Valley High School, Tatiana Buchholz. From Cooley Middle School, Lily Trainer. From Gilbert Classical Academy, Eli Phillips. From Gilbert High School, Abigail Hawk? Hauk. It's Hauk. From Higley High School, Kaylee Cruz. From Leading Edge Early College, Ethan Olson. From Mesquite High School, Mackenzie Smith. From Mesquite Junior High School, Peyton Nolan. From Payne Junior High School, Reardon Mallory. Oh, Malloy, sorry, there's no R in there. I was so focused on the first name there. From Perry High School, Grant Williams. From Sossaman Middle School, Jackson Dearden. And finally, from South Valley Junior High, Nate Christensen.
That does conclude this portion of our program tonight, and we'll move to the business of our council meeting in about 5 minutes. Thank you all for coming, and Merry Christmas. business portion of our agenda. And Bridget Peterson is here, not with Scouts. These two young ladies are too pretty to be Scouts, but they are members of our Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee. Bridget, take it away.
Yes, Mayor. These ladies are part of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee. I have Melanie and Tatiana, and they would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. If we can have our council members please stand for us. Everybody in the room, please stand for us. Ladies.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate your help tonight. Take your papers.
Thank you. We are privileged to have Father Dan here from St. this evening.
On the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, please bless Mayor Daniels and all of our councilmen and all of us gathered here today, especially a few days before Christmas, as in these days we will remember you coming to earth to save mankind, and we prepare for your coming our hearts, especially in these next few days. We grow to be more like you in the way that we do most each of us individually. Please bless this council, wisdom, and perseverance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. And may Almighty God bless all of you and protect you from evil, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Father Dan. We appreciate you so many of our Gilbert residents. Thank you. Merry Christmas. The clerk will now conduct the roll call.
Councilmember Scott Peterson. Here. Councilmember Jared Taylor. Here. Quorum is present.
Thank you. Are there any communications from citizens, Vice Mayor?
Mayor, I don't see any, but there's a lot of stuff up here, so maybe we'll just make sure there aren't any. I don't see any, Mayor, so I think
Terrific.
we're good there.
Thank you. That will move us to the consent calendar. Vice Mayor, will you assist?
Yes, Mayor. Items 1, 2, 3, 12 have been asked to be removed. I don't know of any others. I'll just check now to make sure I haven't missed any. I'm sorry. I'll say them again. I was pretty fast. 1, 2, 3, and 9 and 12. Okay. All right, Mayor. Seeing no others, I'll go ahead and make a motion. I move to approve items 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. That motion carries with a 7-0 vote. Thank you. Number 1.
Councilmember Anderson asked to have that one pulled, Mayor.
Yes, just to express a concern more than anything else that as you read through this, I understand the importance of mutual aid agreements and so forth. What I'm concerned with is that it appears as though we have an unelected council being created that could influence budgetary decisions by elected councils in different cities, and that's just a concern that I have. I know that's being fatalistic, thinking that that may happen in the future, but it's a concern that as we go through these kinds of agreements that I think we ought to pay attention to things like that. With that, I'll make a motion to approve item number 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. That motion carries with a 7-0 vote. Thank you. Agenda item 2.
Thank you, Mayor. I asked to have that item pulled. It's probably no surprise. This is similar to some previous amendments. We're basically trading cash now for hypothetical labor. Also, there's a building that's going to be built, and I understand that, but I'm uncomfortable with that. I think there's a lot of risk. One of the thoughts that came out as we discussed this, I discussed this with Councilmember Taylor, was if the developer would agree to the next $2 million in reimbursement be the $2 million we're talking about, then I would be totally fine approving that. But I know that that's not had any discussion before this meeting. If there was time that would be certainly something. I mean, that's really not as hypothetical anyway. There's still some risk, but not nearly as much as if it's, $2 million is 20 years from now that who knows if it ever gets collected in the first place. So,
Any additional comments from council?
If I may, data to that. I appreciate staff for giving me a little bit of information in terms of how much have we rebated so far. I thought that would be interesting because then you'd say, well, how long would that $2 million take? So fiscal 17, 588,000 and change was rebated. To date, for this fiscal year, 414, we budgeted $1 million. So, and fiscal 19 is $1 million as well. So it'd probably take till fiscal 20 to pay that back, or maybe faster, because it seems like there's a nice curve in that, obviously, because there's more development. So the payback would be fairly quick on that. So I'd certainly support that as well, because that's real dollars for real dollars. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Cook?
Mayor and Council, thank you. This project started, when I first came on board with a couple other council members of the nationwide product. And, it was really interesting that the number of years of them trying to negotiate what we call corporate welfare, with the town just didn't fly. But the nice part about what we've done with this organization is that we've built in a performance plan over a number of years, and what we've seen at that location is phenomenal. I mean, they kicked it off. We secured a large organization to come into Gilbert, and it's just growing. And I know that I look at it as an investment of the future, because I think as much as that we have other potential users that may land on that property. I know we're in a very competitive bid with other municipalities, and I wish, and I know we all agree, that the rules were the same, that incentives were not provided to any of these companies to come into any location here in the state of Arizona or anywhere other states that try to grab these companies. I wish the rules were the same where that was not an issue, but I do know that this will help us secure potentially some very large companies that will bring thousands and thousands of jobs. And I'm looking at those potential jobs coming into Gilbert. In my mind, outweighs, to me, the $2 million that we're discussing, because I believe that that's part of, what I believe the incentives that the nationwide folks are looking for to help, secure potentially this, user. So anyways, I'm all in favor as it is, and that we move forward with that.
Thank you, Councilmember Cook. Vice Mayor, you have another comment?
Just a follow-up to that, I really appreciate that he pointed out performance plan as a part of this, and I really appreciate this, the structuring of this. The main agreement is that they only get money back as they bring tax dollars in. That is really the heart of the strength, I think, of this plan. But what we're doing tonight strikes right at the heart of that, because it turns it around where it's not based on performance now, it's immediate cash in their pockets. And so that's really where I get concerned. And I just point out, we are also getting them to build a building, but first of all, it's not our building, it's their building, so we're not going to own it or anything. Secondly, if the market demands a building, I think it will be built because there's a demand for it. So I know I'm a purist, but I just think there's a better way to approach this. So thank you, Mayor, for letting me speak.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I'll just add my brief comments as well, and that is that Pecos road improvement is important to everyone in this area, and being able to develop that faster and I think meet the need ahead of schedule is important to all of us. So we're getting a couple different things out of this, not just a building, but we're also getting Pecos road improvements that are really critical to our overall circulation plan in the town. So with all of that, is there a motion?
May I move to approve?
Second?
That motion carries with a 5-2 vote. Thank you. That moves us to agenda item 3.
Thank you, Mayor. That one was me. I'll try and make this simple as I can. First of all, there's acknowledgement in the packet, and I appreciate and respect and honor that this feature, this water feature, if you will, at Southeast Regional Library was built as a commemoration to honor the partnership between the town of Gilbert and SRP, Salt River Project. If SRP had not done what SRP did in bringing water to the valley, and to the East Valley in particular, none of us would probably be here. So there's no question that deserves a recognition and commemoration. But on the other hand, we have something that's very expensive, prone to breaking, and so it lasted 11 years. When we first built it, from the time we first built it to when it became inoperable was about 11 years. And now we're talking about $600,000. I know that's not the number in the packet. That's the total budget for this project, because we're just talking about the first piece of that. So if you do the math, it's like over $50,000 a year. Now, presuming we don't maintain it any more inexpensively than we did the first 10 years that we had it. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. These things are expensive and hard to maintain. There's just moving parts and so on and so forth. My proposal is, let's commemorate and honor that partnership, but let's find a way to do it where we actually put some use to the taxpayers that they'll appreciate. Something like, let's do $20,000 a year in additional funding for the library as far as the contents and resources and things available for people to check out and view. I would support that. I think we'd save money, and we can put up a sign that says, $20,000 a year of your library is funded through this commemoration project. Something else, and that's just one idea. But I think we can honor that partnership. We can do it in a way that taxpayers get more out of it, appreciate it more, and heck, they'll even be more prone to honor that relationship themselves because they see that it's given them something as well. So that's my thought. I know I'm rambling a little bit. This is just very outside of my comfort zone as far as tax dollars, and I just don't know for sure what we're getting out of it. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Anderson?
We did do, if you remember, a few years ago, we had a design competition on what to do with this site. There was a design that was selected. I think we should take a look at that again, and I wouldn't mind actually asking our Culture and Arts task force to take a look at that. This I think can be a piece of art on that corner, and maybe they should take a look at it.
All right, so what I'm hearing maybe is a request to continue this particular agenda item. Is there anyone who wants to make the motion to continue to, let's say, February? Oh, Councilmember Ray?
I will mention the Cub Scouts came in today, and we had a mock council meeting, and we voted on this, and it passed 3-1 to expend the funds. So I'm okay with continuing it, but I wanted to put a little more background to this item, just so everyone has it.
Thank you, Councilmember Ray. That was great. We appreciate that. We'll take that into consideration as part of the arts conversation that ensues. All right, a motion?
So moved.
Well, we have to continue it to a date certain, so.
We have a date certain.
February 1st?
I move to continue it to February 1st.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. That motion carries with a 7-0 vote. That takes us, I believe, to agenda item 9. Mayor,
Councilmember Cook asked to pull that item.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, thank you. I found in researching this particular agenda item with the cameras, I decided to do some just technical research on the product and so forth, and then I came across a document of a study by the, I guess it was a collaboration of the study of the Louisiana State University's Civil Engineering Department in collaboration with the Louisiana Department of Transportation, where they actually took a study of Baton Rouge with similar cameras and so forth, almost 200-page document of the study, and in that study has some concerns for me as related to the actual possible detection of vehicles of these cameras in multiple situations. So I unfortunately shared this document with our staff much later than they should, and I would love to continue this, and David's okay in continuing this so they can review the document, because there are some things in the document that was just of concern to me. Even though the study was more about car counting, it was amazing to see how many cars were not able to be detected in the study, and there was lots of different circumstances with that. And I know that these cameras are used to help anticipate potential traffic issues, but you have to detect cars as well. So I'd like to continue it just for a little bit longer, let his team review the document, get back with me what they thought the document is, compare our results of the other cameras that we have that are similar already today.
February 1st, okay, David? All right. You want to make that motion to continue?
Mayor?
Yes.
Just to add, and I do support that, I'm just wondering, when that information comes back, if we could also get any analysis on potential staffing impact. Do we need any additional headcounts to monitor, or any other capital expenditures for recording devices, or any other infrastructure besides the cameras?
I support that as well, Mayor.
Thank you. David, you got that feedback? Perfect.
Mayor, I move that we continue this agenda item to the council meeting on February 1st.
Second.
Please vote. That motion carries with a 7-0 vote. Thank you. We're going to be really busy on February 1st. Yeah. Agenda item 12.
Mayor, Councilmember Taylor asked to have this one pulled. I did too, but I'll let him speak first.
Mayor, I'll be brief. I've been to some grant writing where there's lots of private money here, so to tie us up to some federal obligations for this, definitely support this. These are very, very good things to have in the town, and the good thing about this technology, it's made so much better now, so regular people that don't have a lot of advanced training can use it to save lives, but would just like to, so definitely support it, would just like to see it from private sources that are available and abundant.
Vice Mayor?
Or we could use the $600,000 we save on the repair to buy these. I like that. It's really good. And we commemorate, put it everywhere. I like it. Mayor, we've talked ad nauseum about federal grants. I just wanted to thank staff for their thorough response in the packet. I think this is the most thorough that I've ever seen them be. And thank you for your honesty. We do not know where these dollars are coming from. Nobody can quite identify that. It's been a problem for me and others. I'm not sure if there's anyone on the planet that can tell me where these dollars actually come from. So, but thank you, Mayor, for just that moment. I obviously don't support the item, although I do support the devices.
Thank you. Is there a motion on agenda item 12?
Mayor, I move that we approve agenda item 12.
Second.
Please vote. That motion carries with a 5-2 vote. Thank you. That completes our consent calendar and moves us to public hearing. All items will be heard at one public hearing. Are there any comments from the public on any of these public hearing items? None that we've received. Any comments from council on any of the public hearing items tonight? I'll make one request, and that is that we continue agenda item 21. And so I'm going to open the public hearing and close the public hearing on everything but agenda item 21. So I will open the public hearing on 1920A. Did I get that right? Yep. Okay. 1920A, 20, 22, 23, And I'll close the public hearing on those agenda items and entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. That motion carries with a 7-0 vote. I will open the public hearing on agenda item 21 and request that someone make a motion to continue it. I think Kyle, we talked February 1st. Thank you.
Mayor,
I will close the public hearing on that agenda item.
Mayor, I move that we approve or move to the February 1st meeting, item number 21.
Second.
Please vote. That motion carries with a 7-0 vote as well. And agenda item 24, I will open the public hearing on agenda item 24. Vice
Mayor, I happen to know Councilmember Taylor had some interest in this item. I also had some comments. There may be others, I don't know.
Mayor, let me pull my notes out here on this one. So I think we each have a copy of a possible amendment to the resolution in the packet, which effectively would have, it would do a couple things. One is, with the primary thing, which is detached council pay to employee pay, and I think that was a directive from council, so it would sustain that. Number two, it would continue what the current rate is as published in the packet, and then at a future date, round it off, which is section 2, and I can, read that. So, just for the public, the rates of compensation set forth in this resolution shall remain in full force and effect until the beginning of the term of office for council members elected during the town elections to be held in 2018, at which time the compensation for the office of the mayor shall be reduced to $43,000 even per year, and the compensation office of council members shall be reduced to $24,000 even per year. These reduced rates of compensation shall remain fixed until modified by a future resolution of the council. So I appreciate staff for preparing that and would be happy to move that. I would like the council to consider a rollback to what our prior rate was or lower. And I don't know if there's an appetite for that, but if we can do that by just modifying the amounts in section 2, maybe we can just get that done with one vote, or if we need to bring it back. But maybe town attorney can correct anything if my procedures are off there. But that would be my recommendation. If we can, in that section 2, just roll it back to what our prior one was before this recent document, or even more. But thank you, Mayor, for the time.
Thank you. We did have a subcommittee of the council that reviewed council pay, and the members that served on that was Councilmember Taylor, myself, and Councilmember Ray. And we, as a collective subcommittee, actually came up with the dollar amounts that are located within this agenda item. So what you're saying is you want to throw out what the committee discussed and you want to lower it.
Mayor, so as I have said before, I believe that this is an office that we are really lucky to serve in for a temporary period of time, and it's an office it's a position of service. I don't know, when I do service, I don't ask for compensation, but we hope that expenses can be covered. And that's the approach that I bring. I know everybody has a different perspective on that. That's my particular opinion. So while I certainly supported what the committee had, because, we had a good discussion on that, but I still hold that viewpoint. And if there's an opportunity for us to, more fully express our way of offering service and returning some tax money and value to our citizens, I think that's important, and that would be good to consider. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. I do know that many members of this council, this is a full-time commitment. They are going to so many different events, doing a lot of things offline. I don't think this is a decision that we should do quickly. I think this is a decision that should be very thought through. I think about some of the service that we're able to engage in, and it's heart and soul. It's not just time. So I would like to continue to have that discussion at a later date, but we do have the work of the committee that's included in this amended ordinance proposal, and I do have your future council meeting agenda item request here that because 3 members of the council signed it, we absolutely will be hearing that again. So, Vice Mayor.
Mayor, thank you. I agree with Councilmember Taylor on this item, and I don't mind that people will point out that the reduction in pay will not be something that I deal with. And so, on the one hand, you could say I don't have a stake in it. On the other hand, you could say I certainly don't have a conflict of interest either. So my thought is that none of us expected, nor asked for, nor requested that our pays be increased. None of us were aware that it was going to happen. And so I think any of us should be totally fine with going back to the pay where it was before that increase took place. And so that's really my main argument, and that's what I'd like to see us do. But that's fine. If we want to continue to discuss it some more and think about it, that's my argument. It does seem like we have 3 signatures to come back and address that also. So just wanted to offer some thoughts. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Oh, Councilmember Cook.
I have a question for Councilmember Taylor. Do you believe that you might just do an amended motion to address your comment at this particular vote, or are you comfortable in waiting for a future meeting?
Mayor, if I may respond, Town Attorney Payne, you can correct me if I'm misunderstanding process here. If I do an amended motion where Section 2 is amended to roll back the rates to the prior amount, do we need to revisit this? Because as the sponsor of the card, I'd be happy to pull that if procedurally we can do that tonight and then the matter's over.
Procedurally, you can identify the amount that you'd want to roll back to and include that in the amendment.
And just that as the amendment, right? Because that would be the effect of the card that's circulating, so I believe then that wouldn't be necessary.
Correct. And just for clarification, we cannot change our own council pay in the middle of a term. So
that's correct.
The effective date of this would be only increases?
It affects increases or decreases.
Okay.
You cannot. So the effective date would be January 2019, first council meeting with the new council on board.
Right.
So the option is yours, Councilmember Taylor.
Okay. Town Manager, I don't know if you happen to have those rates handy. I don't know, or maybe we can look those up, but I'd be happy to include those as specifics or just general wording to roll back to the prior rates.
Mayor, Councilmember Taylor, no, we do not have those at our fingertips. We know general ranges where they were, but I don't remember the exact dollar amount.
Do we know the specific?
The dollar amount for council was $21,012 because it was on Lisa's board for ages, and it was the same forwards and backwards, 21012.
It's a palindrome.
I don't know what the
Do you know what mayor was?
I don't know what the mayor was. I didn't look at it because
And I don't know either because
38.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It matters, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, why don't I just use some words that refer to that, and then we can specify that in that, so. Okay, so let me get the document here, and Mayor, I'll make a motion here.
Jared, just to be sure you know, you need to refer to the amended one we got from our town attorney before, because the one in the packet's not this one.
Right, I just want to make sure I have the wording on the code.
And here's a question. Would it be easier to have someone make the motion and then you amend it?
I can make the motion.
Maybe that might be easier.
Fine. I was just going to put it all in one, but. Here, let me try this. So we'll see where we go, okay? So Mayor, if I may, I move that we amend the Code of Gilbert, Arizona, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Article 2, Mayor and Council, Division 1, generally, Section 1-39, compensation, and declaring an emergency. Also, a motion to adopt a resolution ratifying and setting the compensation for the office of mayor at $43,631 per year, $36,3592 per month, which rate was effective July 4, 2016, and setting the compensation for the office of council member at $24,239.49 per year, $2,019.96 per month, which rate was effective July 4, 2016, and declaring an emergency. And also, as presented to us, move that we add to the resolution Section 2 that reads, the rate of compensation set forth in this resolution shall remain in full force and effect until the beginning of the term of office for council members elected during the town elections to be held in 2018, at which time the compensation for the office of mayor shall be reduced to the prior amount that amount starting in fiscal Jan 1, 2017. Then that'll give us the reference point there. And the compensation for the office of council members shall be reduced to $21,012 per year. These reduced rates of compensation shall remain fixed until modified by a future resolution of the town council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, but I'm going to amend the motion to go back to the amended language that is within the ordinance that we all have a copy of. So that's clear. Excellent. Is there a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll vote on the amendment first. Please vote. That motion carries with a 4-3 vote, and that means that the original motion is null and void. All right, that was complicated. I think we figured it out.
Actually, you have an amended motion now you have to vote on. You did amend it.
Okay, correct. We'll vote on the amended motion. Thank you, Vice Mayor, procedurally assisting me here. We're voting on the motion that I made now.
This yellow one.
Oh. You have to re-vote on it because it's been amended. Okay, so now is there a motion for the amended motion?
So moved.
Oh, we just vote.
We just vote? Thank you.
What are we voting on?
We're voting
on the
on my
amended
motion. I amended the motion to the original language or the amended language that was provided to us by town staff.
Yes.
So we are now voting on that amended language for the second time.
Mayor, just a point of order.
Yes.
So with that, then that card is enforced.
Understood.
Thank you.
So we'll hear it again in 4 to 6 months. Please vote. That motion carries with a 5-2 vote. Thank you. All right, I think we are now on agenda item 25. You need the handheld today. We apologize.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I'm Rod Buchanan, your Parks and Recreation Director. Tonight, we want to update you on the concepts and Phase 1 designs of regional and Rittenhouse parks. And since we were here last August of 2016 when the council motioned to accept the plan, we've been busy designing the park for Phase 1. Well, at some point during the process, we had an opportunity we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. But as you remember, there was extensive community outreach for the master concept plan and amenities. The plan you see here up on the screen included input not only from the community, stakeholders, Parks Board and Council, but also the Parks and Recreation and Trails Master Plan, our townwide surveys, and the Sports Field Needs Assessment. What you see here on the screen now, in September 2017, after we already started design on the park for phase one. The flood control district did a recalculation of their basin storage requirements and determined that approximately 50 acres within the recreation easement that we received from them could now be considered high and dry. So if you look on the left side of your screen, you'll see the blue, and that was the original basin when we acquired the easement. Then, after the recalculation, the blue area that is still left now is high and dry, and now the new basin is the dark blue on the right-hand side. So it's an amazing opportunity. And the what it really offers us is the opportunity to expand some of our other high and dry areas and utilize this for our P3s. So what I'm going to present now is our new concept plan that takes the place of this upper area from the original concept plan. And so the main things about this is that if you remember correctly, there was a great lawn, and it was all one lawn. And what this does now, we have the opportunity to divide the lawn in two with the lake. Imagine, if you will, the event lawn now up there. The amphitheater moves to the north. The event lawn is slightly sloped. You can probably, we have estimated 10 to 15,000 people could fit into this space as far as a special outdoor event. Imagine, if you will, looking out over the amphitheater, over the lake, down towards the Santan Valley and Santan Mountains. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. There will be weddings, birthday parties, all sorts of different activities that are smaller, and then also it can accommodate the large. The other advantage to this is that now the second lawn is going to be down below, so we truly can have two separate events going on at one time. Let's see, the other thing is, as you can see, everything moves down to the south, and the P3s that we're currently in discussions with by council direction for parcel 1 and parcel 3 now become a reality, and we have the space to be able to accomplish those. The Parks Board voted to move this to for your consideration and support and direction if necessary. Moving down a little bit deeper into the new phase 1 area, or I'll call it the high and dry. It's not really phase 1, it's high and dry. You'll see the restrooms, splash pad, playgrounds, a small lawn, volleyball, pickleball, tennis courts, maintenance yards, some support facilities, and things like that. So the upper section really becomes a nice 50-acre piece, along with the 47 acres we already owned, for a total of about 97 acres high and dry. Just to give you an example, the riparian is 100 acres, so to give you some comparison. So let's take a little view here. This is the perspective view from the northwest. This would be the perspective view from the northeast. From the south, looking down from the south, right where the basin's going to start. So that's the concept. Now the phase 1. As you know, we are building this park with SDF funds, and so we're building the park to the funding available. And what changes in the original phase 1 that you saw with the concept design and this particular park is the lake is not going to be included in phase 1. We just don't have the funding. However, what we do is we're able to take the, I'll go down a little bit further here. We have the ability to take the area where the event lawn is going to be and actually grade it and have it ready to go for when we do get available funding. What we'll do is put non-irrigated hydro seed on it. We'll be able to maintain it at a level that is not to turf level, but we might be able to do included in phase 1 is 8 pickleball, 6 tennis, our iconic play structure, splash pad, a number of ramadas, restroom building, maintenance yard, 300 parking spaces, and some extra overflow parking areas. And we're going to irrigate the area with a temporary pond, and that's how we're going to deal with that. So that is the update on where we're at on Regional Park. Are there questions on that before I move on to Rittenhouse?
Mayor.
Rod, what's the difference in fields from the previous designs we looked at versus this design?
Thank you. Councilmember Ray, there are no differences in the field count. Everything will remain the same. Everything just shifts down, and we compact it a little bit. So it's actually will be a little bit more efficient.
And with future phases, there would be fields. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We have 17 fields planned for this particular site.
And were any of those fields planned for phase 1 in the previous version?
No, sir.
Okay.
See the fields where they start on this slide, down below in the basin.
Okay. Of all the parks that we're talking about, there's lots of them. Of the 2 parks that we're talking about, to me, by far, the most important thing is fields. And so I will continue to harp on that, as that seems like by far the biggest void that we have, or is the lack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rod.
Councilmember Taylor?
Mayor, thank you. Rod, in terms of what's in the current documents related to the amphitheater, what's the scope of that? Because some amphitheaters have a lot more tech and maintenance obligations. Others are very bare bones. I know that's a little fuzzy right now, but in the current documents, what's contemplated for the amphitheater?
Well, at this time, we are only designing the 30 acres that you saw, so we're not going to design it. When we do get to that point, the Parks Board will be involved, and of course, we're always very sensitive of maintenance issues. But at this time, we know it's an amphitheater opportunity. We might have some sort of a portable band shell, a stage, hookups, and things like that, but we'll make sure that it's not only effective, but efficient.
Do you know off the top of your head how many or how much we have budgeted for that right now? I'm putting you on the spot, I'm sorry. It's bad Christmas form. I can check.
$500,000? About $500,000.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any additional questions from council? All right, moving on. Oh, Vice Mayor, he got excited.
Have we looked at, and maybe I'm missing this, but are we trying to use the fact that we can build structures up there now? Because I'm seeing open space still, other public-private partnerships, things like that, because now we actually can build buildings on there. So being proposed.
Most of the park elements that were in the previous high and dry that we actually couldn't fit are the ones that are more suited for this type of high and dry area are being put in this location. We still have room for some facilities, for example, the lawn at 1.7 acres. If we decide not to do that and we get another private-public partnership opportunity for a rec center or a small little aquatic center or something like that, we do have some areas in there that are still very flexible. Plus, we now have 47 acres of P3s available, which originally we had only planned for about 25 acres. So we've almost doubled that area just based on the new opportunity. So in Rittenhouse Park, you haven't seen this yet, and this is more of an attempt to meet our field needs analysis. Rittenhouse is being, this is the concept design for Rittenhouse. It's 13 fields. It also has some practice fields or small child fields. A 3.5 acre lake that is going to be, is just for irrigation purposes. And playground area and some ramadas and things like that. It's very basic, but it's designed to be lit fields, and it's going to be really a great amenity as far as delivering these multi-use fields and some other sports on them. Again, this is the vision for this particular site. We'll be doing outreach to the communities surrounding the area. It won't be the extensive outreach we did on regional because they were helping us design the park. This is more of a need, a sports field need, so we're going to be going out and talking to them about this, as well as what we plan to build in phase 1. So in phase 1, and again, remember that our both of the to set the stage to do in phase 1 at Rittenhouse. And we're going to have 2 multi-use the area that you see that's browned out above the fields will be basically graded and ready to go in case we do get an opportunity to have some value engineering or some efficiencies or a good bid. And so we'll be able to perhaps build a third field. This also includes some trails and sidewalks, maintenance yard, and we have to put a recovery well in this particular location. Both of these sites are very intensive as far as the off-site utilities, and that's driving up the cost. And so to conclude, basically, the timeline right now, we're doing design and outreach to stakeholders and user groups. Neighbors. June of 18 we'll finish the phase 1 design. In June of 19 we'll finish the phase 1 construction. And these will basically deliver 2 more fields for our field needs analysis, which are important right now. Any questions on Rittenhouse?
Rod, I know you're very actually enthusiastic about our parks, even though I'm sure you're a little bit tired tonight. But question for you, when is our expected completion date of both parks?
June of 2018.
Completion date.
19, June of 2019.
No, sorry, let me rephrase it. Completion date of the construction of the new parks. This is the question I get asked, especially by our youth all over the community. And to some of our kids, I say, I'm sorry, when the park's actually done, you'll be graduated from high school. So tell us what your expected completion date is. We'll do Rittenhouse and then regional.
Well, thank you for that question, Mayor. I do have a chart, a planning document that we're working through on the CIP, and both parks would be done in 2025, current plan. Regional would be done in 2023. Rittenhouse would be done in 2025. That's the current plan.
And that's involved because Rittenhouse is so much smaller.
It has to do to be able to fund this park is either land sale, bonds, or self-funded.
So it's based on our current funding mechanisms. Those are the completion dates.
Correct.
Okay, and we will be discussing at our spring retreat, which is our financial retreat, earlier, we'll be having a robust discussion about how to pay for these parks as well.
I know of $600,000 we could save somewhere else that we could put right there. Great commemoration.
He's
item.
already spent that $600,000 like 4 times tonight, so I would actually call that a quick spender there, Victor.
I just want a little more big.
Vice Mayor, I'm sorry, I should have called you Vice Mayor. Okay. Councilmember Taylor.
Mayor, thank you. Rod, just to Councilmember Ray's point earlier about fields, we're going to get more fields in Rittenhouse in phase 1 to kind of offset what we might not be getting in the regional park. I thought there was at least 4 to 6 in there, and I'm seeing 2 now. Maybe give me the history lesson there if I'm misunderstanding.
Sure. Thank you, Councilmember Taylor. What we did was high-level concepts. Once we started to get into the design phase of this, basically we're trying to build to what the available funding is and not come back to council and ask for additional funds. So this is because of the off-site pricing is coming in now, we now know that what we'll be able to build is be able to February.
Mayor, if I may, could we at least see what it's going to cost at either the retreat or some other mechanism if we wanted to add another 2 or another 4, and then maybe that can roll into our budget discussions? At least give us the option on that.
Absolutely, we can do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
It's
you.
a little bit,
Councilmember Ray.
it's going to be difficult, excuse me, to tell the residents that we're going to spend millions of dollars and get 2 fields out of it, especially when that seems to be the most wanted amenity in Gilbert. And I get that there's power and water and all that you have to get there. There's more than just putting a few seeds on the ground. But I would love to be able to have more than 2 fields after we write checks for millions and millions of dollars when that's the most wanted thing.
Thank you. All right. Rod, anything else we should know?
I'm excited.
I know you are. I've heard you talk about it outside of council meetings, so I know that there's enthusiasm there. You sounded a little bit like Chief Joe Bush, though, while you were talking, who doesn't ever do a cartwheel or anything for us. So,
Well, I present more, but costs and whatnot, we
understood.
we are
We're just giving you a hard time, Rod.
trying to do our best. Mayor.
It's a Merry Christmas.
These
And the Parks Director has no comment on that.
Thank you, Parks Director. I appreciate the fact that you don't have any comment. All right, that was an update, and now we move to a presentation and update to council regarding council retreat discussion on council communication. That was a complicated way of saying, what's our communication plan? Take it away.
Good evening, Mayor. Test.
I might have fixed it. Apparently the mute button didn't have its cover on it up here, and someone muted it. Oh, Cub Scouts. Cub Scouts were up here. It might work now.
I think this one seems to be working, so
Okay.
I'll roll with it. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Robert Carmona. I'm the Deputy Parks and Recreation Director. This will be my first time in front of council. Been here a few months and enjoying it. So thank you for the opportunity to come here and be able to talk about the Communication Task Force. If I can, I'd like to also introduce some members of the team that were also involved. Andrew Jackson from Water, Jennifer Alvarez from Communications, Amy Argulas from Intergovernmental Relations, and Adam Walterson from Courts, and Deputy Town Manager Mary Goodman. So to start us off, this stems back to September 15th at the Town Council Retreat. Town Manager Patrick Bander gave a presentation on council communication. Those items included how we're currently communicating with Town Council, how we're communicating with the public, how staff is communicating with each other, as well as how we're communicating with our businesses. So from that conversation, council was able to put together a list of important feedback that we can enhance communication. So with that, after the town council retreat, Mr. Banger put together a council communication task force, and our role was to really research the identified areas of importance and be able to report back with possible solutions. So the task force met with members of the executive team, as well as the second in command groups and supervisor groups from the staff, really with the goal to really incorporate and learn how everyone's communicating with council, with each other, with the community, and be able to bring that back to put together some new ideas of focus. So those areas included the list that you see on the screen: economic development, areas in public works, citizen impact, council agendas, and the intranet. So with that, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Andrew Jackson to go over the specific areas and what was done with them.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So since the council retreat, various departments have items. Economic Development has regularly scheduled meetings with the mayor and quarterly meetings with the council to communicate economic development project updates. The Development Services Department provides mayor and council with updates on private sector projects, and the department also has included council on the distribution list for the Planning Commission agendas, giving you the opportunity to be aware of new projects. Public Works has added an interactive map on the town website that gives residents and mayor and council easy access to view capital improvement projects, and this link was also added on the monthly council report. So staff will continue to provide communication on business activity as appropriate. Additionally, guidelines were developed to assist staff with inviting town council to community events and meetings. These guidelines were sent out to mayor and council this week, and often mayor and council, you are invited to internal and external events within the town, and to better communicate these events, we worked with the mayor and town council assistant to develop guidelines that will be distributed among departments to ensure that mayor and council are well informed of the happenings in town. The guidelines will also ask employees to identify who is invited, so if it's a community type event or if it's a staff event, and what the specifics of the event are going to be. We will also ask employees to communicate in a timely manner and to ensure that mayor and council are made aware of the event no less than a week prior. So as we endeavor to enhance communications, we will also ask employees to keep the mayor and council informed on items that have impact on citizens and/or matters that could be deemed controversial. Employees will work with the department directors and deputy town managers on the types of events and gatherings as appropriate and send to mayor and council. The group also worked with IT to discuss Gilbert Update access outside of the network, and based on these discussions, it was determined that Gilbert Update announcements with images and attachments are best sent directly to mayor and council so that they are easily viewed on council devices. We understand that there are items that you would like to view, such as benefits-related emails or coming and goings, so staff is now sending separate emails to mayor and council regarding these matters. The group also worked with Lisa Maxwell to discuss items being pulled from the agenda last minute. So if an item's pulled from the agenda, staff shall notify the town clerk and copy the town manager and deputy town manager. So as it relates to council items, when Lisa knows, you will know. And at times, the reason and timing can vary when items are pulled. However, Lisa has recently revised her changes to the dais sheet, and that sheet will have more inclusive information on it when item agendas change. So in summary, thank you, council, for providing feedback on the items of importance to enhance communication between the mayor, town council, and staff. The feedback items were evaluated by the group, and recommendations and changes were made to enhance the current process. Timeliness as it relates to communication has been reiterated with town staff, and guidelines were developed for staff to ensure the proper communication for events or subjects that impact citizens are communicated. We also discussed last-minute changes to council agenda items and the importance of notifying the town clerk, town manager, and deputy town manager as soon as reasonably possible. And lastly, we discussed intranet access and the need to be connected to the network. So you are now receiving this information regarding HR matters in a separate email. As Team Gilbert, we are committed to enhancing council communications through transparency, collaboration, and accessible information. So if at any time you would like the manager's office to review communication strategy, please let staff know. And so with that, we appreciate your time, and if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer those for you.
Well, I'd like to thank you for the work and let you know that we very much appreciate the collaborative effort that's taken place, and even just having a highlight and a magnifying glass on this particular agenda item. We just want to be there really to support staff and the community, and we feel like that's a huge part of our job. Councilmember Bridget Peterson had this as her top priority for this fiscal year. So, Bridget?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to say thank you. I think you've all done a tremendous amount of work. The only thing that concerns me is that I'm going to use the comings and goings email for the best example that I have. Instead of fixing the problem of us not being able to see the pictures of the people in the email that goes out to everybody, we've now created a second email that has to come out to us. So we're getting two emails, one that we can't see and one that we can see. I'm the kind of person that wants to see us fix the problem, so we need to find a way for us to resolve that issue so that Amy Daria doesn't have to create a second email to send out to all of us, and so that we're not now getting two emails, one that we can't read and one that we can read, okay? And that's all for your benefit too, because I don't want to have to, you're duplicating work is what's happening. It's a good short-term fix so that we can see those changes, because sometimes we don't know who's coming and going, especially on the outside. I had a question about the intranet. For example, I wanted to look up some benefits, and I had to contact Kristen Drew, and she had to send me the information or a link to reach the information because I can't reach it when I'm outside. Can employees reach the intranet when they're outside the building, or only when they're inside the building? Do you know that, Patrick? Or I don't know if Andrew knows that answer.
Mayor, Councilmember Peterson, we can reach certain aspects of the intranet from the outside, but I don't believe we can reach all features.
Okay. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Through a VPN, you should be able to, but I know that's sort of an IT thing. I'm thinking with a town device that has a VPN connection configured, you should be able to get that to work, but I don't know if I'm speaking great here. Anyway, I know we can get into this later, but I think there should be a way to do that.
It's just examples and things that we might be able to actually make things run even smoother. And I know Mark had sent me a couple of emails. Mark Kramer had sent me a couple of emails to try and fix that problem with the comings and goings email, for example. And if we could access that, I think it would end that problem.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I think, Victor, you real close. With the town device and VPN is what would be required to access the intranet. I think the challenge is one of workflow. Particularly on mobile devices, VPN is a very unfriendly workflow. I've done it. It's not something that I use commonly. And then on a laptop would require VPN access.
And I think when I started as a council member, and I don't know what Councilmember Anderson was told when he started, but I was told I couldn't have a VPN on my computer, so I don't have that access.
Yeah, so VPN access, it would be required to be a town-issued device. So that is one of the restrictions we have. Beyond that, it's technically doable. I guess.
Okay.
That is, to answer the question that was asked, how does staff do it? It's a VPN connection.
Okay. Okay. I know that something came out recently about SharePoint. We use SharePoint here. And I happen to be married to an IT guy, so I was talking to him about my situations. It's nice to have somebody at home that does that. And he said that he He didn't know why we wouldn't be able to access what I've been telling him that I'm having trouble with. So maybe we can talk about that in the future. I think it might help all of us help this situation too.
Just a short answer is license model. We would have to step up the license model of what we have for SharePoint to make it publicly accessible without VPN.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark. I think that's all.
I can't help but think that that might be a benefit, though, for all the employees, for them to be able to check benefits and other information outside of work hours. I just can't help but think that that would, when I do most of those kinds of things, those are after hours, you know, after even kids go to bed, and that's when I have some time to sit down and sort of process those things. I would imagine that some employees would prefer that type of accessibility. So maybe we have some internal discussion about one of our strategic initiatives, which is to be a technology leader, and we still never totally defined that. So I think maybe now is a good opportunity for us to start having some more of that dialogue. That would be great.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm a techie, so I like my technical stuff.
Thank you, and thanks to the entire committee who assisted with that. Great work. Any board, committee, and commission reports from the council? All right, moving on. We have a policy item, agenda item 28. Oh, yes.
I don't want to let the chance pass to say thank you for this. And I appreciate all the other communication items, the comings, goings, all that stuff's been great. But this has been, as a vice mayor, this changes the dais, the recent change, the recent version is glorious. Thank you for your work on that.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, our policy item, agenda item 28, regarding purchases from the governing body, and I look to Patrick.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got one announcement.
So we're going to do agenda item 28 first.
I'll do it, Mayor.
Oh, excuse me, that's Lisa.
Lisa, I apologize. Sorry, I thought you were pointing at Patrick, which is what, through Patrick. Got it.
It's a requirement from state law that we do this every year, so you're just doing your new policy for next year.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move to approve item 28.
Second.
That motion carries with a 7-0 vote. Thank you. Report from the town manager. You're up now, Patrick.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Last council meeting of the year, it was a great year. I won't take the time to recount all of the wonderful success we've enjoyed, but I will thank all of the Town of Gilbert employees who have put in a lot of hard work through this year. Welcome all of our new town employees to our organization and to this community. It's one of the finest communities you could work for and you could serve. So we're eternally grateful to them. And then a real quick recognition of Chris Kingsmore in our clerk's office, who has now become a certified municipal clerk. So congratulations to Chris.
Thank you. Report from council on current events.
Mayor and council, I'm going to pass this down. It's I'm going to challenge all of us on a New Year's resolution. So what I'm passing down is and you may already have one, I don't know, but if you don't have a family pass at the Freestone Recreation Center, I just ask that you, as a New Year's resolution, sign your family up so that we're all in support of that. So again, I just challenge all of us here to do that. New Year's resolution.
Thank you, Councilmember Cook.
Is he dropping a hint?
No, these guys down here.
You know, they have a great exercise room that you might
I'm going to stop this right here.
They have Rogaine.
Our report from the mayor on current events. I'd just like to echo the sentiments of our town manager, Patrick Banger. This has been a tremendous year. 2017 is certainly one for the history books, particularly in the town of Gilbert. It doesn't happen every day without the incredible employees working hand in hand with the citizens of Gilbert. So on behalf of the entire council, we wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a very happy holidays and a healthy and safe new year. And moving on to 2018, there is a tremendous amount of work to be done. And I know that all of us are up for the task, so we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a wonderful holiday. Take care. Meeting adjourned.